Gotcha. Quietly now. Busted. Ta. Let's light it up! Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ancient alchemy truly is fascinating.
Toodaloo.
Boats are made for transferring.
Adventure time!
Solidify!
I'm going in!
I will have order! Stabilize!
Let's light it up!
Squall Fury! Upon the gale!
Quietly now.
Wretched vermin!
Huh? Busted.
Solidify!
Everybody stand back! Gotcha.
Behold!
That can't be right. Oh, but what if they're real after all? No, that can't be. But what if there's a chance?
Greetings, miss. Is there something that's bothering you?
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm Della Roche, the representative of the Fontaine Fishing Association. How can I help you? Oh, so you're adventurers. Oh, finally.
Paimon could tell you were really bothered by something. Don't worry, you've got two super experienced adventurers right here. We'll take care of anything and everything for you as long as you pay us a little bit of Mora.
Oh, you are exactly the helpers I need. See, the problem is that the fish around a fishing spot at Araneus have just all up and vanished recently. They disappeared too quickly for it to have been the work of human anglers. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I had planned to go and investigate the area right away. Right, but unfortunately, as the representative of the Fishing Association, there are a few other errands that I absolutely have to run.
So you'd like us to investigate the spot for you?
Exactly, you're right on the Mora. So I thought I could delegate this work to you. Are you two some kind of prophets, knowing exactly what I was going to say like that? Or maybe like the oracles you read about in fairy tales?
Yeah, we're just really experienced in this kind of thing, that's all.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'll get a good night's sleep knowing the two of you are on the case.
But don't we just need to investigate the missing fish? It really doesn't sound...
No, you mustn't let your guard down. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I have good reason to believe that the fish have gone missing due to an encounter with the water imps. Yes, you're both Outlanders, right? Our local fairy tales often speak of a terrifying underwater creature called Thelks. The story our parents would tell us was always the same. If we went to the water alone, then we'd be snatched away and eaten by
A child-eating water imp? Did they...
My father would always describe it as a beautiful, multicolored snake woman, while my mother said it had a handsome face. It's really strange, though, because you'd also hear other people describe it as just a chubby penguin with a deceptive... Even though the tales vary regarding its appearance, everyone agrees that it's really dangerous. It lives in an underwater cave surrounded by pallid bones and uses its sensitive nose to track down lonely children who've lost their way. And once it finds a child, it uses its alluring singing voice to lure them into the water before swallowing them whole. Pretty terrifying, isn't it?
Sounds kinda scary. But isn't that pretty normal for a fairy tale? After all, those kinds of stories are usually...
But what if the fairy tale was inspired by a real-life tale? Just like how a water vein always has a source. Well, I wouldn't call it evidence per se, but I've heard some rumors lately. They say that someone recently saw a child walk into the water as if he was possessed by something. Doesn't that sound...
So you mean someone really got eaten by...
It's all hearsay, so it's hard to confirm. But still, they all say this happened on Irenaeus. That's no laughing matter if you ask me. Both the Opera House and the Fountain of Lucine were built there, and the sources of many water veins can be traced to the island as well. Combine that with the mysterious mist, the huge tree with expansive underground roots, and the rumor that the fish ships on the island can Is it really so shocking that an island so shrouded in mystery could harbor a terrifying water imp as well?
Why does Paimon feel like you're pulling our leg? You're just piling on the rumors now. Still, if someone's real...
Oh, marvelous. Then I'll just mark the stretch of water on your map. Don't forget that no matter what.
The wind rises. There's no end to this. Stabilize!
Busted. Let's light it up!
Gotcha! Behold! This is order.
Gotcha.
Picked the wrong test subject.
Gather! Cry louder!
Solidify!
You even want this? Squall and Fury! Too slow.
Is this the stretch of water Delaroche was talking about? It looks really peaceful. Huh? Look, there's some footprints over there. These look pretty fresh. Did the water imp get someone again? Let's look around and see if we can... Wait! Did you hear something just... What is that?
Paimon? Traveler? I'm sorry.
Fremine!
Paimon, are you okay?
Paimon nearly mistook you for a water imp!
Huh? A water imp? Thelxie, you say?
Huh? You know that name too? Or do you know someone else is trying to...
No. I think our situations are probably unrelated. Sure, if that's in order. I know the name because of one of my employers. She noticed the clockwork penguins I brought to the workshop and contacted me through the shop's owner. She has commissioned me to make a special toy. Following her request, I've named the toy Thelxie.
Huh? But isn't it a little creepy to name a toy after a water imp? Wait, hold on! Fremine, you never take...
Yeah, but, she made a special request, but out of respect for her privacy, it's alright though. She'll be coming over to check on my progress shortly, and I'll just tell her that you're two of my trustworthy companions. Hearing that, she might be willing to share some information, and...
Huh. Even though you seem a little cold and reserved sometimes, you're still really considerate. Our target isn't necessarily the water imp, though. We're primarily here to investigate the disappearance of the fish.
The fish? I think I may have These past few weeks, I've been taking Thelxie for underwater testing every day. The pressure testing makes a lot. So, all that about the disappearing fish? Well, it was probably...
So that's how it was? That actually makes a lot of sense. Wait, so could that mean the child...
Yes, I think that's quite
Whew. So in the end, it was just Fremine. Paimon spent all this time imagining what a water imp from the fair...
I'm sorry. It sounds like I've created a lot of trouble for everyone else as well. I'll try to finish this commission as soon as possible. Once I'm done, the fish should come back. Thank you.
Actually, how much work do you still have left, Fremine? Maybe we could
Thanks for offering.
Hey, it's no trouble at all. Didn't you just call us your trustworthy companion?
But don't you need to report?
Nope, that's not how it works. See, Paimon's got these commissioner types all figured out. Even though we were just tasked with finding out why the fish had gone missing. If we tell them now that it was all just a misunderstanding, you can bet they'd just immediately hand us another commission to help them get the fish back. Exactly! So if we can help you finish up your work and get the fish back, that would save us an extra...
Is that what you'd like to do as well? Huh. Alright, I'll trust your judgment. Please follow me. I've made a
The wind rises.
I've stored Thelxie in the tent. He can respond to some simple verbal commands. You can try calling his name and see if he'll come over.
Whoa, sounds pretty advanced. Let Paimon give it a try. Hey, Foxy! So that's Fremone's version of Thelxie. It's also penguin-shaped, just like Pear.
Yep. Had Thelxie lived in Penguin Town, he'd probably have become great friends with Pear. It's not really anywhere famous or important.
Hey, Thelxie. Nice to meet you. Do you know how...
I wanted to install a language output module, but due to time constraints, I had to give up on the idea. As it stands, Thelxie can only output messages that were pre-written into its motherboard. I haven't given him the ability to convert those messages into discernible words, so he can't really talk to.
No need to get so technical. So basically, you and...
No, there's no need. That wasn't one of my employer's requests. It was just something I wanted to try. I have 2 other things I'd like your help with. The first is to do some integration testing on Thelxie's motherboard, to make sure he will be able—
That doesn't sound too hard, and...
The other shouldn't take too long either. You'll need to find Thelxie some colorful shells and coral, so I can craft—
A weapon? Well,
Thelxie will need to be able to charge forward with a weapon in hand, like that brave prince of legend. It's a—
What an imaginative employer! Naming Thelxie after a water imp?
Well, regardless of his role or species, Thelxie's purpose is the same. Just like Pear, he has come to this—
Whoa, Thelxie just said something again! Could he understand what...
He can react to certain key words, but unfortunately—
That's a pity. But anyway, the most important thing right now is for us to get to work. Maybe let's start by doing some testing on the motherboard. That sounds like something we can do here in the camp.
Sounds good. The motherboard is on my workbench, so— Here we go. I have this testing manual, so feel free to reference it if you want to give it a try? It's okay if you don't succeed immediately. I've got a lot of backup boards just in case. Okay. Knowing you, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. You're doing well. Just as I expected.
We've taken on a lot of similar tasks before, you know.
Then let's move on to the underwater part. It's just as I mentioned earlier. We're after colorful shells and coral. Oh, speaking of which, you're both already pretty used to Fontaine's underwater environment, right? Okay, that's good. Just let me know if you ever feel uncomfortable. I'll make sure to stay right by your side.
Behold! Squall and Fury!
Thank you for permitting, no, inviting me to join you.
It should be right over there. We'll be able to find something that'll help us with our search. This is it. We call this thing an echoing conch. It can detect special reflection waves in the water to help us with all kinds of underwater exploration and excavation efforts. Here, try it. Did you notice any interesting places? The echoing conch should have detected some just now. Let's go check them out. All right, these should be enough. Let's head back to camp.
Fremine, you're back. I thought you might have been out diving.
I'm sorry, Madame d'Estray. I must have kept you waiting. I can report, though, that the construction of Thelxie is going quite smoothly.
There's no rush. I'm your employer, not your supervisor. And these two are...
Oh, they're two of my trustworthy companions. They're here to help me work on Thelxie.
Yes, I see. I suppose it's only natural for someone responsible like you to have some reliable friends.
It's really nice to meet you, Madam Distray. Are you Fremine's employer? Paimon is Paimon.
Greetings, my new friends. Just call me Zuria. You are both so adorable. The sight of you reminds me of little fairies under a cottage roof.
Oh, do you really think so?
Of course. If my child had friends like you, then perhaps he wouldn't have become so obsessed with the tales of water imps. And I wouldn't have had to trouble Fremine here with this
Obsessed with the tale?
Ah, so you don't know anything about my request yet? I would have thought...
Well, Fremine told us that it was a private matter, so he didn't want to just share it willy-nilly.
I see. So Monsieur Fremine is even more discreet than I had thought. As you are assisting him with the project, I believe it'll be beneficial for you to learn more about its vision and history. But it would be quite impolite of me to simply pile all of my troubles on you without your permission. So...
Sure, you can tell us anything. You've already said nice things about us, so we'll try our best to help you get through your trouble.
Ah, what a lovely little fairy. Then let me think of a way to put my situation into words. Simply put, parents came up with a story, painting water imps as scary abductors in an effort to convince their children to stay away from the water. My child is rather special, however. While most other children are terrified of Thelxie, he's infatuated with him.
Infatuated? With a water imp?
Yes, he told me that he thought the water imp might have just been misunderstood. In his mind, instead of singing to abduct children, the water imp actually sang out of a longing for companionship. As a result, he...
So he wanted to become friends with the water imp so it wouldn't be lonely any longer?
Thank you, little Paimon. He indeed has always stood out from the crowd. He was actually diagnosed with loneliness syndrome when he was only 8 years old. It's a type of mental disorder. Those affected by it often feel extremely lonely and lose interest in many mundane activities. The syndrome is probably what made him so determined to become friends with the water imp.
Oh no. Is it a...
If you were to become afflicted with the disorder, Paimon, you would only be able to say less than a fraction of the words you're saying to the traveler now.
No! Paimon won't accept that! We would have to find a doctor to help cure Paimon. Paimon has a 2,000-word quota for daily conversations with the traveler, and she won't settle for a single word less!
The family doctor has already begun to treat my son, but since the disorder is rare, there aren't many good regimens for treatment. He's also developed...
Huh?
Uncontrollable delusions. To put it simply, he can no...
Then what is he seeing in his...
It's a dream that he often mentioned to me when he was younger. I've compiled what I could understand of his recent rambling. It goes...
Amazing! Your son came up with all of this? He really crafted a lovely...
But perhaps no beautiful dream can ever last long.
son to develop his loneliness syndrome?
Well, it'd be more accurate to say that it was the syndrome that caused such terrible delusions to manifest. But in any case, the biggest problem is the patient eventually loses themselves to the fantasy world of their own creation.
My poor child can no longer differentiate between imagination and reality.
Perhaps in his mind, the loneliness he felt became the same as that of...
What? So that's what you meant by uncontrollable delusions.
Alas, most of the time he acts as if he can no longer sense or interact with the real world at all. I've had several discussions with the doctor, and we think it is best to try to guide his He once wanted to make a picture book of his imaginary world. But since the disorder progressed too quickly, he never quite got past the first page of the book. If we could use this book as a breakthrough for his condition... Here!
So Zuria's son also saw Felxie as a penguin. Oh,
What we should do now is help him complete this picture book. However, we'll lead the story to a different end. We'll need to chase away his loneliness and sorrow, and let him perceive a world full of hope again.
but if we just need to finish the picture book, why does Fremine need to make a Felxie as well?
Because we need to treat the book's story seriously, as if it's a history of things that have really happened. We'll need to go on a journey like Felxie, and help him regain... But my child can no longer go on a journey of his own. This is why I commissioned Fremine here to craft a Felxie, and then I'll paint the journey with this Felxie into the picture.
Ah, like a stand-in for your son! Paimon's starting to get it now. Oh, you really put a lot of thought into this, Zuria.
There are some ruins on the seabed of the Salacia Plains. I've already asked Fremine to research them for me. We'll be able to use one of the
Oh, so we'll just need to act out a performance of, a brave journey through the kingdom of water imps. As long as...
Sadly, no. We won't just be putting on a performance. It's just as Zuria said. We need to take this seriously. And the only way we can take this seriously is if we choose to believe everything that's happening is
So we'll be playing it straight? Or, making it a fully immersive experience? Oh, neither of those really sound right. Well, either way, we'll still be able to...
It's all right. There's no need to get that serious. It's not a big deal. I believe in my son. We can just see this as him wanting to stay asleep for a bit longer, because he's...
Zuria.
Keep your spirits up, everyone. If we were to look troubled, my son is sure to become anxious as well. I should be heading back. We temporarily moved to a place on the hill over there, so my son will have a better spot to convalesce. It's not far from the water, and there's also a great view. Feel free to come find me if anything urgent comes up.
Understood. There's also one last thing. Since these two friends were able to help me out, I've made some more progress on Felxie. I estimate that he should be ready sometime tomorrow.
That's great news. I must thank you all. With that in mind, how about we meet here in 2 days' time to head to the Kingdom of Water Imps? All right, everyone. Let's meet again in another...
Zuria sure is a brave and optimistic lady.
Let's discuss that over by the tent. There were a few things that I didn't...
What is it, Fremine? What did you want?
If you don't mind me asking... This is the first time that you've met anyone with the syndrome, right? I know you two. If things don't quite turn out as we wish, I hope you'll be able to accept...
Fremine this up all of a sudden? Didn't we just promise Zuri?
It's not that I'm not optimistic. It's just...
Ah, so that's why you looked like you knew exactly what she was talking about.
No. Please don't misunderstand. I've never had it. They say there are many factors surrounding the development of this illness. I've heard everything from hereditary factors and one's state of mind, to environmental factors, and even ley line disorder effects. Some even say it could be caused by contamination from god remains. And from the cases I've seen, there weren't many positive outcomes.
What? It could get that serious? And
Yeah, that's just the nature of it. So if you'll find it difficult to cope with the worst case scenario, I would prefer that you back out right now. I don't want you to help only to feel like you failed.
yeah, that's right. Paimon's seen all of those things too. No matter how hard it might.
Really? Then in that...
Yeah! But Paimon has a question. If this illness can really be as bad as... After all, we'll just be using a toy as Thelxie and some ruins as the Kingdom of Water Imps. The whole adventure will only be...
Well, I think it should be able to do something. To harbor a fantasy means that the child wants to save himself somehow. But if we can help him regain control and escape from the darkness, we'll be able to change his world. Like helping someone who's lost their voice be able to speak again.
Oh, Paimon sees what you're saying now. Huh. How do you understand all of this so well, Fremen?
Well, maybe because I've also had many of my own dreams in the past. I even had my own fairy tale world, much like that boy.
What Penguin Town? Why doesn't Paimon remember? Is that also a fairy tale world? Hey, why did you put that on?
It's just one of my personal quirks. Anyway, Penguin Town is a peaceful place with lots of penguin residents. They're all really... And Pear is the town's triumphant hero, as well as the...
Pear? But didn't you make Pear yourself?
Well, I often think that Pear only came to me because he realized how much I needed him. So it's not so much that I made Pear as...
Fremine, are you...
No, I don't think so. I can still differentiate between fantasy and reality. I just believe that the fairy tale world of my dreams must also exist. It might just be hidden, which is why it's difficult to see.
Specific times? Like when you put on your
Yeah, that's...
Really? Paimon just said that because you put on your helmet.
Have you ever observed the surface world from underwater? It's as if you're viewing a whole different world from the outside. It's a very surreal feeling. Both alienating, but also as if you're being protected by something. I have a similar feeling when I put on my diving helmet. In those moments, it's possible to see...
Really? Like a miracle?
Well, if that's in order.
Hey, don't you still need time to work on Thelxie's weapon? We don't want to keep you from finishing your commission.
Right. I still have to collect some tools I'll need to craft the weapon. I've got to finish everything. Thanks for all of your help. I'll be off.
rises.
You want to use my hat as an umbrella? The audacity to even make that request.
It's time to pull.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Behold! Stabilize!
The wind rises.
Bow your head! I will have order!
Let's light it up!
Gather!
Going in!
Behold! Stabilize!
Adventure time!